politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism.
I understand that when the mainstream media covers immigration, it doesn't often see it as an economic issue.
Favorite Miami Dolphins cheerleader?
That's easy. Jeanette Rubio.
What was I going to do without my best friend? What was I going to tell the kids? What kind of single parent would I be? Phone rang and I got the greatest phone call in my life.
And then she'll become the next president of the United States.
Thank you all. God bless you, and may God bless America.
I'm told inside the Clinton camp that there's one Republican they're more nervous about than anyone else. It's John Kasich.
Well, a little taste of 7 of this cycle's most effective political ads.
Newsmax.com has a new article out that takes a look at why those particular spots have such an impact. For more on what makes an ad effective, we want to welcome in Newsmax Prime host J.D. Hayworth. J.D., thanks for joining us.
Miranda, John, it's my pleasure. Thanks.
Now, as a former congressman, you've produced ads. You've been the target of ads. So tell us what you think makes a great political ad.
Well, first of all, an ad has to play to your strengths, it has to make people think, and it has to reinforce the good things that people are already thinking about you. That's perhaps the most predominant concern. Some people are big on being clever, but it's not all cleverness. It has to reinforce your brand, your candidacy, and why the reasons why people should vote for you.
You mentioned strengths. Now, let's talk about this ad from Donald Trump. It was Donald's first ever TV ad, and some may argue one of his most effective ones, as Trump displays his strengths, as you pointed out, as a possibility for the next commander-in-chief by promising to cut the head off of ISIS. J.D., why do you think this ad in particular is so effective?
Well, because, again, it reinforces Trump as commander-in-chief. You know, he often gets on the stump and he marvels at himself and his candidacy. And what has he found out in the polling? That security, making America secure, has suddenly taken him even higher in the polls. This ad reinforces that with stark scenes, this reversal from the president and his Secretary of State to the 2 Islamic terrorists domestically. It's an effective use of visuals and what the polling is showing the Trump campaign.
What do you think is the most effective part of it, though?
Oh, I just think the overall ad, I know what they did. They sat down, they said, here are what the numbers show us. Here is where the frustrations are based on the San Bernardino attacks. And here is what we're seeing after your assertion, Mr. Trump, that we ought to have a ban on any more Muslims coming into the country until we figure out, quote, what the hell is going on.
Yeah, in this case, the medium is the message is the medium, vice versa, reinforcing what Donald Trump's brand is. And somewhat striking, though, J.D., to hear Donald Trump say, I'm Donald Trump and I support this message, considering he is like the anti-candidate this election cycle.
Yeah.
Well, that's required by law. So
I know. That makes him a politician. He's even owned up to that. The next ad is from Trump's biggest rival right now on the campaign trail, Senator Ted Cruz. You like this one a lot, too, J.D. In the ad, Cruz proves he will get tough on immigration, and he takes on the liberal mainstream media, as he so likes to call them. What is your take on this ad? Is it the juxtaposition of what you would think about the folks coming across the border, J.D.?
Well, it again strikes an anti-elitist theme. I can tell you, as a guy who used to represent an Arizona district in Washington, I would watch these confabs, these collection of pundits on different media outlets and say, they just don't get it. They don't understand what's at stake. And so Cruz very carefully dresses the people up coming across the border as if they are professionals, lawyers, or journalists. And for the grassroots, they go, this is it. The elites don't get it. But Cruz does, and that juxtaposition, using his own words in debate, and the shot we just saw there of Marco Rubio, it checks all the boxes.
Yeah, and two professions that rank just below members of Congress and politicians, the media and lawyers when it comes to public approval ratings, too. Easy targets, J.D.
That's very true, and it has ever been thus, I suppose, or certainly in recent years.
Well, before we let you go, J.D., real quickly, what do you have coming up tonight?
Well, we will be chronicling the air war in Iowa on both radio and television. We'll also go on the ground to the Hawkeye State. Bob Vanderplatz, the leader of the Family Leader, the Values Voters Organization. Bob has endorsed Ted Cruz. We'll also have pollster Matt Towery on. Matt, of course, an expert really nationally on the numbers, but especially in the South. And we will talk about the campaign concentrating on Iowa. Something else we will have tonight. It is the headline, "The New York Times has been dying to print." It finally showed up, at least in their internet edition. I'll be talking about why it so excites the people at the New York Times. That'll be the way I see it tonight, and I hope to see you 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, and again at 8 o'clock Pacific time tonight.
Thanks, JD. There's still a lot more to come. You're watching Newsmax Now.